My name is Jason Glardy. I'm the host of Get Good. In this series, I'm joined by the very talented Lindsay. We're going to nerd out over handstands and provide you with a step-by-step game plan to go from beginner to balanced. We cover the why you're doing it, what to do, and how much to do of it. Welcome to episode 7, Shapes. We're going to go through different handstand positions. Despite them looking advanced at first glance, they're going to help us understand the concept of center of gravity over basic support and help us own the concept, not just the exercise. This might look harder, but be easier.
Right, I mean, if you think about it, when you're standing on your feet, what do you do when you lose your balance and you need to correct it? You put your arms out, right?
Okay,
you use your arms to
Sure.
balance you. It's the same thing when you're upside down, you just use your legs. The thing about straight handstands is that you have one thing to focus on, which is making your body straight, keeping everything tight, squeezing everything toward the midline, and reaching everything up. The problem with that, though, is that everything needs to be directly stacked over your balance point.
Got it.
To keep your balance. There's not much room for correction.
Sure.
And all of the correction has to come from the shoulders.
Got it.
When you're in a straight handstand.
Yeah.
When you're in a different shape, you can correct from the hips, you can use the legs. There's more leeway. There's more room for error. The easiest shapes for learning balance really are like a double stag position, a straddle, or single or double stag. I would say tuck, but tuck is actually a really difficult shape for even more advanced practitioners to hold.
So why don't we go through each one from easiest to hardest?
Okay, so I learned how to balance in mostly in a double stag position, which I'll show you what that looks like now. So you've got a single stag here, which is one leg bent, one leg straight. This is generally, I'd say, the easiest position to start with. You can use the back leg for balance. If you start to go too far over, you can reach it back. You can use that front leg to keep your center of gravity low. And then this is a double stag. So even though they're reaching away from my body, the equal weight on both sides, they're counterbalancing each other so that my center of gravity is still over my hands. And then the second position is the straddle position. So I'm gonna kick into it. You can also do that straddle entry to get into it. So the straddle position, again, I don't have a very wide straddle. I don't have great external rotation, but you can use your legs to leverage yourself if you start to lean side to side. The problem with the straddle position is it's not as easy to leverage yourself if you're starting to move forward and back. That's what that double stag position gives you, that leverage front and back. The straddle position gives you that leverage side to side.
Got it.
So I think it's important to practice both because when you are in a straight handstand, realistically you could fall any which way, and it is important to know how to maneuver your weight going side to side as well as front and back.
If I have never seen a handstand before, so I see something that looks foreign, you're not in a straight line, and then you've got these limbs here and there, and you're like, that looks pretty hard, right? What's important is to understand that it's sometimes what's going on behind the scenes which is valuable. They've done a study on this, and they had 2 groups. One group was at a free throw line, and they just practiced from the free throw line. Shoot, 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 shoot. Then the other group practiced from various positions. From the side, the free throw line, 3-point line, but they were just varying the conditions. Now at the end of the experiment, they tested their free throw accuracy. You would think that the free throw group would do better, but actually the other group did.
Right.
So,
well, I think practicing at all those different positions, you really understand the
concept
better. So you understand this concept of balance and this, you understand body awareness more when you practice in all of these different shapes, because you're not just aware so long as you're in this one shape that you know well.
There's also a simple message behind things that look complex.
Yeah, the concept of center of gravity over balance point applies no matter what shape you're in.
Got it.
You can be in the most twisted, crazy, bendy shape, And that principle always, 100% of the time, it applies.
The backbone will help you with normal alignment too.
Yeah.
And normal alignment will help you with shape training and sort of varying your practice in not rushing through it, because like you said before, you don't want to do two reps,
right,
and then not understand each one, but dedicating a bunch of time for this and then for this and then for this
right,
lets you understand the simple message behind something
right,
complex.
I mean, you need consistency in your training, but I also think you need variety,
yeah,
or else you only get good at the few things that you train, or the
totally,
one thing that you train.
You'll never be able to freestyle.
Right.
You'll just be able to replicate.
Right. The thing that stayed constant the entire time is that my center of mass was over my balance point. It didn't matter which way my legs were going. I kept that stack from my hips to my shoulders to my wrists. And if that did move, I would counterbalance, and it didn't matter how much movement I did, as long as my center of mass was over my balance point, it stayed up and I had my balance. So similar thing applies if I wanted to move from a back bend or Mexican handstand into a scorpion, into a hollow back. So even though my shoulder angle was changing, my back was moving, my spine was moving, my legs were moving, throughout the entire thing, my center of gravity was still over my balance point. So I'm still gonna stay balanced.
We're going to talk about the hands, the core, and the glutes, and show you how a few little tricks can make a big difference to your handstand.